Good morning. It is March the 25th of 2020. It is 10:13 in the morning and quarantine day. I have no idea which day it is. I think we've been in quarantine for a week now. About a week, I think. Okay, so my bestie has sent me a video she uploaded onto her YouTube channel, and you should definitely go check it out. She is adorable and the cutest, and I love her. And she's been begging me for ages to do the same. What I mean to say is she's been begging me for ages to start a vlog because according to her, I am funny. Her last video was so adorable and so cute that I thought, well, since we are in quarantine and there's literally nothing to do, I'm playing video games all day, I'm not doing anything, I thought, fine, I'm doing it, fine. So, vlog number 1. As you may or may not be able to tell, I don't know what I'm doing. I watch YouTube, I don't do YouTube, but let's try and follow some basic vlogging procedures. Rule number 1, look presentable. All right, this is the extent of my makeup skills. Rule number 2, actually have content. Yeah, the content thing is gonna be a bit tough because I didn't actually think before starting this. It's kind of more of a spontaneous thing. Coffee's empty. Right, I'm not entirely sure where to start. I wish I had a better camera angle, but I literally have my phone propped up on my suitcase, so yay! I guess a good place to start would be, who the fuck am I? Good question. I'm gonna all right, to answer that question, I have now written down some bullet points so I don't go meandering off in all directions, because one thing you need to know about me is that I am very prone to going off on tangents, and then from those tangents I go off on other tangents, and then it's a never-ending tangent story and I never get to the point. So bullet points it is. So my name is Jill. I am from the beautiful city of Vienna, Austria, born and raised. Yeah, currently also stuck in quarantine here, like the rest of the world. It's quite lucky though that I happen to have been home when this entire thing happened, because if I was somewhere else I would go crazy with worry, you know. Why would I be somewhere else, you might ask? The thing is, I haven't actually lived in Vienna for the last 11-ish years. and not any length of time, with one exception, because I went to study first. First, I went to study in St. Pölten, which is still in Austria, a smaller town, a couple of hours away from Vienna by train. And then I went to study in England for 3 years. Then I went to study in Vancouver for 2 more years. Then I was back home for 9 months. Then I went to work in Hamburg in Germany. Then I went to work in London. Then I went to work in Montreal, which in Canada, in case you didn't know, which was my last station. So last Christmas I came home and I wanted to take a bit of a longer break, and then this whole crazy shit happened, and so now I'm home. But honestly, I'm really glad that I'm here while this is happening, because if I was stuck in Montreal right now, I would be losing my shit. Is it snowing? I'm sorry, I'm confused, because we didn't really have a winter this year, and I think this is, it's like not, it's like rain snowing-ish. Anyway, it's, what? Now? Anyway, I might cut this out. Right, back to me. I love coffee. I consider myself extremely lucky that I am here in Vienna right now during this time with my family and all my oldest friends. Problem with moving around so much is that I have friends literally around the world. I hope you guys are safe. Everybody, like, watch out. What do I do, you might ask, that makes me move around so much? Good question. Oh man. Well, I am, don't sound like a prick, Joe. Yeah, I am an animator. So what do I mean by that? I am an animator. More specifically, a 3D animator. So I work in 3D animation. It's a pretty broad industry. I've worked, so my first job, I guess here comes the story of my life. My first job was in, should I start with my studies? Oh my God, I don't know. Okay, let's start at the beginning. I'm gonna try and be very, very brief. It's kind of a long story. So I am a 2D person at heart. What I mean by that is that I have been drawing since forever. I once asked my mom if she remembered when I started drawing, and she said, I don't remember, pretty much before you could hold a pen, because before you could hold a pen, you were drawing on the walls with your fingers. So I've always been fascinated by drawing. I was always the kid in the back of the class who was drawing instead of taking notes with my friends. Yeah, so I ended up studying illustration in England. Technically illustration with animation. So I was already interested in animation from, I mean, honestly, The Little Mermaid is the movie that made me want to draw professionally from like a very young age, because that movie came out like a year after I was born or something. A year before I was born? Around that time. Yeah, that dates me, by the way. If you're curious how old I am, go check out the release date of The Little Mermaid. Didn't I say I was gonna keep this brief? Okay, moving on. I studied illustration, realized that that wasn't really what I wanted to do. Ended up finding Vancouver Film School, where I studied 2D animation first, so traditional hand-drawn animation, as in the old school Disney stuff. There's a lot more to 2D animation than that, but that's what people know the most. Think The Little Mermaid and that kind of stuff, where it's all hand-drawn. So I did that first. Then my second year I did 3D animation, because sadly there is not that many jobs in 2D animation. It's still very much alive. People who say 2D is dead are idiots, don't know what they're talking about. But 3D animation opens a lot more doors. So I did 3D animation, then I had to go home because, yeah, Canada at the time sucked a little, and they didn't give me my postgraduate work permit, although they told me I was eligible for a postgraduate work permit when I first started studying there. Yay, thanks Canada. Anyway, I was jobless for 9 months. Yay, that was great. And then my first job, I got a job in Hamburg at a game company. So it was quite funny actually, because I always said, don't really want to work in Germany, don't really want to work in games. My first job was a game job in Germany. It was great though, I don't regret it. I had a lot of fun, I met a lot of great people, I learned a lot. So I worked in games for a year, but not like AAA games or anything like that. So the company I was at was doing mainly sort of casual games, mobile app games, etc. I worked on a casual puzzler game that had some like little 3D creatures that were helping you out and doing stuff. That was what I was animating. Sadly, it never launched. That's what happens. But I learned a lot. It was very interesting because I didn't know about games pipeline at all. It was a big open studio floor and I got to meet everybody from the developers to the managers to, you know, character designers and modelers and texturers and all of that good stuff, and learned a lot and made some very, very dear friends. And yeah, second job I had was in TV animation. So for me, it was a step up because first of all, I was hired as a level higher than the one I was doing before. Second of all, to me at the time, you know, like mobile app game animation, I was kind of judgmental about it. I don't see it that way anymore, but for me, it was a step up. That was tough. This is where I learned that TV animation is not for me because it is rough, my friends. I will probably tell you about it later. So I spent 7 months-ish in London. That was awesome. I loved London. And then I got plucked out of London, so to speak, by a lovely person who hired me into a movie company, so VFX animation in Montreal. So I moved to Montreal, where I have been, well, not anymore, where I was the last 2.5 years. I was at that same company. That was a definite step up because first of all, I went from junior to mid-level animator. Although in the beginning I was like, why are you hiring me as a mid-level animator? I've never done VFX and I'm definitely not a mid-level, I'm a junior, but okay, I'll take it. But it was great because I had to step up and I did, and it was quite an experience. So I then worked in the movies essentially. So I worked on several in what we call VFX animation in the industry for these titles. I'm gonna blend them in because I'm too lazy to like list them off right now. Some of them are credited, some of them are uncredited. Uncredited means that my name didn't make it into the credits because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people work on movies, especially in the VFX industry. The problem is we don't have unions or anything like that, at least in most countries. And I mean, you know, there's ups and downs to unions and stuff, but one of the things is that because of that, not everybody makes it into the credits. So caffeination comes above VFX people. So yeah, so the VFX companies get a limited amount of space, which is usually why, you know, they have the VFX artists come to those who ever watch the credits. And I know nobody's doing that ever, which you should, you know, pay respects. Usually it says VFX by this and this company, and then it says digital artists, which is literally everybody. So everyone from animators, compositors, modelers, riggers, vastly different jobs, but they're all lumped together into digital artists. Why they do that is it gives them more space. So then wall of names, which it's actually, I used to be like, why do they do that? We don't even get our own titles. It's actually a nice thing because the spaces between titles and things takes up space. So if they lump it all together on digital artists, they can fit more names on there. There we go, tangent. Big tangent. Okay, I'll stop now. Anyway, but that was it. So I've been working in the movies. All right, so this brings me to what is this channel going to be about? That is another very good question. I don't actually know the answer to this. I don't know. You're just gonna have to wait and see. This is for fun, purely self-entertainment, self-indulgent entertainment, and maybe entertainment for my bestie because she's the one who pushed me to do this. She kept nagging me, do a vlog, do a vlog, do a vlog. So I'm doing one now, but I am not the most consistent and self-disciplined of people, with the exception for, you know, when I work in animation, but that's literally the only thing I have discipline in. I have absolutely no idea what my schedule is gonna be, if I'm even gonna keep up this channel, what's gonna happen with the channel, what I'm gonna talk about. But really, you know, anything that comes to mind, I guess. What I would like to do potentially is make a bunch of informative videos about my experiences in the animation industry. I think that could be interesting for some people. And then, you know, just life stuff, stories. I have a lot of stories to tell, especially travel stories. Yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be fun. All right, that's it from me for now. Adios.